My name's Eileen Merberg, by the way, and I'm Executive Director of Alpha Lambda Delta. We're headquartered in the Rochester, New York area. Just quick introduction, because they have the cameras on. Christine Cohen, you want to wave? Christine's that she also works in the ALD headquarters. And then helping tonight is Lauren Huffman, who is a chapter advisor at Kent State University, but also works with the national office, the headquarters, and helps us with a few things. So, okay, let's just jump right in. What is Alpha Lambda Delta all about? Just really quickly. I'm not really showing the beginning, but I might. The history, I just find it fascinating, but I'll just share some of the key points and won't go too much into detail. Yeah, I talked about, we're going to talk about 5 pillars, a year in the life, and then some resources. So this is the very first charter. I don't know if y'all know that some of your chapters might have this on your campus, and if you've been around a long time, you might not have it anymore, but every chapter when it first started at every university gets received a charter with all the founding members' names on it. So hopefully you have that on your campus. I don't know. If you don't, look around for it, see if anybody knows where it is. But this is the very first one that was ever created. And that means we were founded on the 31st day of May in 1924. So we have a big year next year. But this is the very first charter signed by Mariah Leonard, who is our founder. So yeah, we were founded in May of 1924. So next year is a really big milestone. Our founder was the Dean of Women at the University of Illinois. And then a few years later, it expanded to Purdue University and then has been expanding ever since. So that is our sort of our roots. And we were founded as a first-year honor society just for women at the time. In the 1970s, it went co-ed. I just found this really interesting. I'm going to show you something I thought was really cool. So this is the first iteration of the pin, you know, that little pin you get when you were inducted. This is what it currently looks like. So you can see, I think it had like real pearls and a ruby maybe. But that was the original pin. And I went to visit the archives in Illinois this past summer and found drawings of the first iterations of what the ALD pin might be. So I thought that was pretty cool. These were the early drawings of what they wanted the pin to look like. And then they voted on one of them, and that's the one that won. So I thought that was cool, like a 100-year-old document right there. And then I also found a 100-year-old document written by Mariah Leonard as she was contemplating starting Alpha Lambda Delta and even creating it, because there was an honor society for freshman men. It excluded women. It was just for men, also at the University of Illinois by the Dean of Men. And Mariah Leonard felt like, hey, what about the women, and why don't the women have one? So she started creating one, and she developed our theme, which is they will pass torches on one to another. So you might know that from the rituals when you got inducted. First conference was in 1930. The next one's coming up next month in October. ACHS is just important to know about. We joined them in 1939, and that means that we're certified and legitimate. So if anybody questions whether Alpha Lambda Delta is real or not, or legitimate, we are certified by the Association of College Honor Societies. We've been offering graduate fellowships for a long time. We've been growing through the years, and now we have over 400 chapters have been officially recognized by ALD. Like I said, we went co-ed in the 70s. Want to make sure you know about the Order of the Torch Award. Give some thought to nominating your advisor for Advisor of the Year Award. And we have over 1.3 million members as of today. 1.3 million. So I've mentioned some of that. We are at 400, and we are international as well. We have 2 chapters, international chapters. We induct, in case you're wondering, not sure if students ever really knew how many students join. You know how many join at your chapter in your campus, but not necessarily nationally. And we induct about 22,000 students. And we're governed by a board of directors, all volunteer chapter advisors. As you know, we give out a lot of scholarships, so make sure you're aware as the student leader of your scholarship opportunities And I mentioned a little bit about the awards, the Alpha, Lambda, and Delta chapter membership awards. Those just got awarded. So if you had some significant increases in your membership numbers from last year to this year, you would have gotten an email with that award notice. Order of the Torch is our annual Best Chapters award. Everybody gets a banner if they win. And then, of course, we have the Advisor of the Year award. Okay. So I've been mentioning the pillars. And one of the things that, before I start to talk about the pillars, is I think a lot of times students join Alpha Lambda Delta for a myriad of reasons. Some don't want to get involved, and that's okay. Some just want the recognition. They want to put it on their resume. And they don't necessarily want to get that involved, or they think they don't, at least at first, or they just don't always want to come to events and meetings. But that's like hopefully not as many as the students who will come. And I think the reason that students will get engaged and a motivation for them to be engaged in your chapter is if you can sort of articulate these 5 pillars and program around the pillars. Now, it's not required that chapters have to do, 3 of each or 6 programs a year. There are no numbers. There's no rules and regulations around what you do with your chapter. But I'm hoping that this 101 session tonight and knowing about these 5 pillars will really just help put context to the chapter. Okay, so we've got all these students that joined, they got inducted, they got a certificate and a pin. Like, now what? Now what are we supposed to do with them? What are we supposed to be about? What's our identity on campus? What are we supposed to do? So that's the reason for the 101 and these 5 pillars, is just to give you a sense of, oh, okay, we could do a program with each other and or offer it to the entire university on such and such a topic. So the pillars are to guide you in that way. So the first one is academics. So we're an academic honor society. That's sort of the number one reason you're all in college, is to get a degree. So ALD recognizes students who did well their first semester, and that's great, but we're hoping that ALD membership can help students continue that academic success. So for some students, they really struggled their first year, first semester, but they buckled down, they took advantage of all the university had to offer, and they did really well. And maybe some think, oh, I don't know if I can do that again, or they get imposter syndrome and not really confident they can continue. But ALD can be a nice niche for them, or a place for them to come together, support each other as members of Alpha Lambda Delta, to work towards continuing that. Maybe have a goal of graduating with a cumulative 3.5 or above. You don't get kicked out of Alpha Lambda Delta if your GPA drops below the minimum that got you into it, the Honor Society to begin with, which is 3.5. But it's nice to, as a chapter, maybe work towards supporting the continued academic success of your members and serving as role models for your next group of incoming freshmen each year. So that could take so many different ways that you could do academic programs. Bring someone into a meeting and have a time management workshop. Talk about time management, how to balance academics and part-time jobs and social life and everything else. Just get together to study. That picture there at the bottom left is a librarian. So go to your library, find a librarian to come to a meeting and talk about how to write a research paper. Like, what are the tips and tricks for getting credible sources at the library for writing a research paper? Go to your academic support center and find someone to come to a gathering of your members and talk about study skills or test-taking strategies, how to do well academically, how to continue doing well academically. Speaking of the library, I think that, AI and ChatGPT and that hot topic is something that maybe is very relevant for ALD, is maybe bring someone in to talk about that and how to be careful about not having robots write your research papers. That would be, I think, a fascinating topic. The other very popular thing that Alpha Lambda Delta chapters do around academics is a lot of stuff during finals week, midterms or finals. So this is a very popular ALD chapter activity, so you might want to think about that, but just doing something during final time, you hand out candy. I don't know if you could read that. Put on your smarty pants. Motivating little things that chapters could do among the student population. Take a breath and do your best. Little candy things, bubble wrap thingies, just something fun during finals to promote ALD, make it branded with ALD, but help motivate students to do well. Of course, who doesn't love a cute puppy dog? So that's a popular AL activity, is pet therapy and bringing in animals. And then just general final stress relief. The second theme pillar is scholarships. So all I could say here is talk to your members, and you yourselves should be pursuing this, but talk to your members and have information for them about how to go after money. There is a lot of money, millions of dollars being given away by many organizations, including Alpha Lambda Delta. So make sure that your members know about the scholarships that we offer as members, and other external scholarships. Your university probably has a scholarship office or someone on campus, financial aid office, or somebody there on your campus who helps students identify scholarships, apply for scholarships, and win scholarships. So that could be a great program to have with your chapter at any point throughout the year. The third theme or pillar is service. So lots of students love to give back. Community service can be anything that you want it to be in your communities. There could be a park across the street, or a river you want to clean up, or elderly living nearby, you want to rake their leaves for them. Habitat for Humanity, soup kitchens, whatever it is that you want to do that's important to you, that you're passionate about. We do offer a theme every year, and we'll provide some resources around that theme. We do not have the resources gathered yet, but the theme this year for ALD is mental health and well-being. So you don't have to program around that theme, but we'll give some ideas for that. Lauren, I've already forgotten to prompt for discussion. I'm going to go through the next two. Once I get on a roll, I can just talk forever. I'm going to go through the next two pillars because there's 5, and then I'm going to prompt you guys. I'm curious if y'all already have a program you do around any of those 5 pillars, if you would be willing to just share it quickly, just in case there's some ideas we can share. So give that some thought. Okay. 4th pillar is career development, and this includes leadership and career readiness skills. So this is really important, I think, for all ALD members. You want to help them develop through professional development opportunities, leadership skill development, helping students be ready for careers, for internships, for job interviews. So this could be quite a few different kinds of programs and events on your campus. Have someone come in and give a talk on public speaking skills and how to be comfortable public speaking. Team building. Bring someone from the Career Center to talk about resume writing and cover letters, or internship programs. And then don't forget about the membership benefit from Alpha Lambda Delta, which is an online self-paced leadership development course. If you complete 10 out of 12, you'll be certified. You'll be considered ALD LEAD certified, and your name goes on our website. It's a really great program. Free, comes with your membership, self-paced. So you can take the next 2 years to do it. Each course of the 12 takes less than an hour, probably even a half. I think they're just some you can get through in a half an hour. So it's not a big time commitment, but they're very useful and popular. Okay, last but not least for the pillars is belonging. And what this really means is helping to make sure that you're an inclusive chapter, that students feel like they belong, not only in the chapter, but at your university or college, that there's a place for them, that it's an identity, possibly, and that they can make friends. And I think the message here is that Alpha Lambda Delta on your campus doesn't have to be that serious all the time. It doesn't have to have a topic that a speaker and a lesson. It doesn't have to have a lesson learned every time you get together. You could just get together for fun. Just do fun things. Go hiking, watch a movie, game night. I'm going to have a picture of game night. Go to a sports event on your campus. Just have fun, be social, but be welcome. Okay, so let me pause there and open it up. Does anybody want to share anything that they do on their campus that you think fit any of the 5 pillars that has been successful for you? You can put it in chat too.
At my school, we have ice cream socials.
There you go. Ice cream.
Like, it was definitely like an introduction that like thank you for coming again, and just getting to know everyone for like new inductees and old.
Yep.
We're also thinking about putting goat yoga. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's just
Oh
yoga with
yes. I love
baby, yeah, with baby goats
that.
all over us. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So ice cream social, in fact, there's a picture of one of ice cream. Food, just by the way, food, 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 food. Have food at everything, even if it's packaged snacks, ice cream, pizza, sandwiches, cookies, cake. I'm there for all of it. So food is key. And then goat yoga, hilarious. Goat yoga is awesome. Yeah. Thanks. Hello.
My
Yeah.
my chapter does study halls around midterms and finals.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. So book a space somewhere in the library or somewhere on campus and just have students gather together to study together and whatnot. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Anyone else? Good. So those are 2 good examples. Just looking for unmuting. 2 good examples, one academic and one social belonging. Great. And welcoming. Yeah. Okay. If you are looking for ideas, Lauren's going to put in chat the link to our ideas page. So this is chock full of what other chapters, not only other chapters, but award-winning chapters. These are from our Order of the Torch award winners. To apply for Order of the Torch, you have to create a scrapbook and highlight your best practices and best programs. And these are snippets from each of those scrapbooks, of the winning scrapbooks from the last couple of years. So lots of ideas that you can steal and borrow and make your own. That's what this is all about, is learn from what other chapters are doing, adopt something that maybe hits home with you, and adapt it, for your own purposes and for your own school. So check out the ideas page on our website. Okay, so I want to just quickly in the last few minutes run through. So what does that look like? So the programming throughout the year. What is the programming I just mentioned in terms of those 5 pillars? Again, no rules. Doesn't need to be any rhyme or reason to when they occur, how often they occur, and how many, and what days and times and that sort of thing. So as many as you can do, as many as you feel prepared to help implement and get your members to come to. Don't forget to you could also be polling them, surveys, emailing them, asking them what sorts of things they'd like to see and do and what they'll support coming to. So it can be year round, but there are a couple of sort of milestone and deadline type of things that as officers, we want you to be aware of. So we'll start with the summer, which we just really completed, but there's still some of this stuff lingering still as we're into early September. But anytime you can promote ALD at some orientation, a lot of times orientation programs have packets or tote bags or something students get. We provide some material for free that you can order from us and have put in those packets. Again, ask your members what they're interested in. I know some of you offer retreats for your officer transition, so think about that next summer. Start to set your schedule for your meetings and events. Orientation and welcome week, those are probably winding down now, but give that some thought for next year. There might still be welcome week activities, but I doubt it after Labor Day. And then don't forget to tabling at involvement fairs can be very, very effective. And it doesn't have to be an involvement fair only. Like those are probably all done too, although there might be some coming up in September. But you could table, if you're allowed to table in the student union lobby or the quad or anywhere in an academic building in the lobby, do it throughout the year because it's promoting ALD and getting the name out there. Even if you don't know students who are eligible yet, but it's just motivating for students like, oh, I heard about Alpha and Delta. I saw you guys in the lobby in October, and then I get invited in February, so I make that recognition. So here's an example of, oh, did I do that twice? It's so important. You table twice. That's why I put that in there. Move-in days was the other one that is all pretty much over with, but think about that next year. But here's a good example of a table display that I think that's Northern Kentucky University. I don't know if you're here. But you know, you can get a tablecloth and get some display items and some publications from us. In the fall, so a fall newsletter, that's just an idea. You know, what that mostly means is just communicating with your members, making sure you know who they are, know how to contact them. If you don't know how to contact your members that just joined in the spring, let us know, and we'll send you a list. Again, tabling. Please be aware, if you, a big favor ask of you right now is to make sure you know what your online presence is. If a student were to Google Alpha Lambda Delta at Clemson University, what would they find? Are they going to find your chapter listed on a university's student org website? Is it outdated? Was it last posted something in 2014? Do you have 17 Instagram accounts because nobody passed down the password from year to year? So check out, make sure that you're up to speed on what's going on with your presence online. These summits, thanks for registering. We got lots more the rest of the semester. If there's any freshman seminars that your campus hosts, those are great opportunities to promote ALD and at least get, if you can get a few minutes at the beginning of each section in the fall. I know IUPUI does this, right, Lisa? I don't know if she's still there. But I believe IUPUI is an example. I think there might be like 30 sections of IUPUI 101, and they get a few minutes at the beginning of one section throughout the fall, each section, and just do a quick promo of ALD. We've got the Denver conference. Oh, Lisa, and you're unmuted. Anything you want to say about freshman seminars, first year seminars?
I was just going to say the first time we did it, it made a big difference in our membership. We got a really big jump. So if you can get that information from your first year programs office and kind of contact the different faculty members and explain what you want to do and have a little 5-minute spiel and a nice handout to pass out to all of the students, I think it really does help.
Great, thanks. Yeah, it can be very effective. And that's very much a fall thing. The freshman seminars, there are some in the spring, but it is primarily a fall course that you might have taken yourself. Our conference is coming up. Work with your advisor on inviting eligible students in the spring. Again, continue your programming. A couple things about the spring is that, you know, the spring is primarily the time when you're going to be inviting your eligible students based on their fall grades. And so if you can do info sessions for those invited, talk with your advisor about the ceremony. If you're interested in being on our board of directors, you can apply to be a student on the board. And then all of our scholarships are due, the applications are due in the spring. So we'll send out lots of information about scholarships, but just know that our 3 scholarship categories are all due in the spring. You're going to be looking at electing new officers. Probably this is not always the timeline for every chapter, but the majority of them elect new officers in the spring. Make sure you let us know who they are so we can invite you to these summits. You might want to have a retreat between outgoing and incoming. And then that award that I mentioned, Order of the Torch, that's due in May. Reports are due in May. And if you want to nominate your advisor for the award, you do that in June. just in closing, if you do, pictures are still important. If you're taking pictures, we'd love for you to either post them and tag us, or send those pictures and we'll put them on our website. If you do want to apply for the Outstanding Chapter Torch Award, you'll want to work on the scrapbook pieces to it all year. Give some thought to our mental health national service project. And again, your induction ceremonies in the spring. Okay, so the last piece is just to at least just make sure you're aware of this website. So I'm not going to really go through it too much, but there is on the national website, and Lauren just put it in chat again. So nationalald.org is our website, and then under chapters, you're going to see officers. This is just chock full of information for chapter officers. So again, I'm not going to go through link by link, page by page, but if you wanted to know one place to start as a new officer or new academic year, getting things going for the chapter, ALD 101, where do I go? Go to the officers landing page right here. If you ever want to meet with us as a group, if you want to get all of your officers together and meet, I would love to meet with you as a group and help you out. Ignore that. We're not refugees. We got to update that. So keep that in mind. If you want to have a meeting with the national office just to get on the right path, we can do that. Okay. And so that's the officer resource page. And then this truly is our last slide. And look at, we're at 7:29. Okay. So if you do not already follow ALD on Instagram in particular, we're not that active on Facebook anymore, but we're still there. You're welcome to follow us. But we're really hoping to get followers on Instagram. So we're at National ALD. We do have an officers Discord. So if you want to join that, it's not been active in the last 6 months or so because we've had some staffing changes in the national office. So we're going to get that back up and running. And I think it's been really helpful. So the invitation to join the National ALD Discord scene for us is in chat. So join if you want, if you can. It's just going to be a nice way to communicate with other chapter officers.